Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. I just wanted to start off by saying, please consider subscribing. Over 98% of you watching these videos are not subscribed, and I'm trying to hit 1K by the end of the year. Today, I have the Waizowl Lightning 60HE. This is probably Waizowl's best product to date, but that doesn't mean it's flawless. Waizowl has been really improving their products and showing some potential since the release of their Sensei clone, the Cloud. To start, the keycaps featured on this board aren't particularly great, and I'm not a fan of the legends in any way. They chose to go with injection molded ABS and put a coating on top. In terms of the feel of the coating on the keycaps, it's actually really soft and smooth feeling, but it's an extreme fingerprint magnet, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. And since it's coated, that does mean it'll eventually wear off, and these will permanently shine like every other ABS keycap. As you can see, I changed the main movement keys to try and avoid this. Definitely, if you get this keyboard, I would recommend swapping out the keycaps, as you can get a pretty decent set for around $30. The switches in this board are actually pretty decent. I looked pretty deep and couldn't find any technical specs, but they are pretty lightweight for the actuation. For the switch feel, they are nice and smooth and have very little wobble. In terms of Halleffect switches, these are definitely an acceptable stock switch, but they also feel pre-lubed, and paired with the sound profile, it actually has a little high-pitched and clacky sounding. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. At the end of the day, this is all preference. It does feature a rapid trigger, however on their site they call it rapidly trigger. Although it's a typo, it's still a decent performing version of Wooting's own rapid trigger. I didn't notice any weird quirks or issues with it performing in game. It also has perky actuation in their software, which by the way isn't super great, but it does get the job done, and it should be a one and done change your settings and forget about it situation. For those who might be wondering if this has the same modability as the Wooting 60HE and want to know if they can put this in another case, I might have some bad news. The case itself is fairly decent, but the PCB is clipped in, and it would be a real pain in the ass to get this out without causing some damage to the stock case. However, the case itself is pretty decent and should be acceptable to most users. The top half of this case is anodized aluminum, and the bottom half is a frosted ABS type case. And there is a whole lot of dampening foam and silicone in this board, so there shouldn't be too much to complain about if you can't swap the PCB into another case. Now, I think this might actually be a viable option for somebody who wants really solid Halleffect performance but doesn't want to shell out the $170-ish price for the 60HE. Although you aren't getting a lot of the same features like Rappy Snappy or the option to put it into another case, it could definitely be more than a good enough upgrade from the normal gaming keyboards that you would see with just mechanical switches. I would prefer to see this closer to the $120 price range though, but that's just a different story. The main thing to take away from this video is the keycaps aren't super great, but the rest of the board kind of makes up for it. I don't like the fact, however, that it's really hard to mod this keyboard and has no real support to be able to swap the PCB into another 60% case. But, like I said, I didn't have any quirky issues with this board and the performance was actually pretty good. If you're looking for a 60% gaming keyboard, this is going to be vastly better than any old mechanical gaming keyboard. If you do have any questions, please drop them down below. Like I said, I am trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you like this video, please consider subscribing.